because I have a colleague here who does research on kinship in rural communities, and I was interested in working with him, Professor and I have trouble saying his last name. And I wrote a book on kinship and marriage customs, and I came here and there was a very nice book promotion for the book, and Professor and we hit it off, and we have written papers together. And so I like it because there's the studying the interdependency of the people in the community and how there's more things shared and more similarities than differences. And Tuzli is kind of a special place because people get along well, and nationalism's not persuasive here in Tuzli. And I know Sarajevo, I've been to Sarajevo before. I think it was good for me to get another perspective on Bosnia, and that's what I'm getting in Tuzli. When there was the war in Bosnia, it was obviously the problem of social order. It was like a Hobbesian jungle, and yet it wasn't, there was still social order. And so the relation between social order and justice was being dramatized here. And so it was an opportunity to test sociology. I mean, for me, it's not just that sociology explains events in Bosnia and the response of the world to events in Bosnia. In some ways, Bosnia forces sociology to stretch itself. And so it's not colonized. In a way, sociology has to be better if it wants to be a viable science to understand what happened in Bosnia, and insofar as these events are happening in other places as well. So for me, it's ideal to be here as a sociologist because sociology has to stretch itself and make itself better. And so it's a reciprocal relationship. It's not a top-down. There's a reciprocity there for sociology. There are some good things and sad things. In Tuzli, I really like the way society restores itself and the resilience. You see families, young families, and you see how important the families are, and the parents of the young families are very caring and loving toward their children, and very responsible. And so it's one thing I really like seeing, and is how committed families are, young families are, and how they care for the children. There's still the difficulty of the politics and needing the politics to serve the people in the country rather than politicians themselves. So there's, in a way, the Dayton Peace Accord sort of puts Bosnia in a straitjacket. And so every time, and it's difficult to get out of the straitjacket. So each time Bosnia moves, the straitjacket gets a little tighter, and at some point, politically, you say, well, why try to move, But socially and culturally, and the resilience of people in Bosnia is admirable. I admire it. I think the political structures put them in a straitjacket, and I think there's the need for politicians to listen to the needs and the spirit of the people and empower the people rather than disempower people. I think another issue, I went to a conference in Graz, and I don't really know Europe very well, but I don't know if people in Europe really know or understand or appreciate Bosnia. And I think that's unfortunate. So I kind of see what Bosnia is up against. But I think there's the need, there's a lot of talent, particularly among young people, and commitment, and so better employment. Jobs that sort of empower people is essential. And it would be good for families, it'd be good for individuals, and it'd be good for society as a whole. I'm here as a Fulbright scholar. It's a different kind, it's a flex grant, a Fulbright flex grant. And what it means is that I'm coming for 3 years, 2 months each year in the spring. And so I teach a course in the English department on the American social character, and then I also conduct research or give guest lectures here and there. And so it's a Fulbright grant called a Flex Grant. It's a new program, and I think it's good because I'm not just a flash in the pan. The coming each year, I'm able to continue projects and keep relations and keep the projects moving. I've really enjoyed teaching the class here, the students on American social character, and I would teach the sociology, different sociologists and the way they talked about the American social character, and then I'd show a clip from a TV series like The Simpsons or The Gilmore Girls, and we'd discuss it. And the students wrote amazing papers. Between you and me, they were better than most papers I see in the United States. The students were very astute and very analytical, and it was very touching. It was just, next to brilliant. So on the whole, I was very impressed by the quality of the students at University of Tuzli. And the colleagues I talk with are very incisive and committed intellectuals, and so I enjoy having them as colleagues. I guess there are different programs. There's Fulbright scholarships and things like this. I guess the general advice I give, sometimes people want to go where there's the fame, right? Go to Harvard, go to Yale, go to Berkeley. And those are obviously excellent schools and the best professors. But often if someone goes to one of those big name schools, they're going to end up being self-taught. There'll be big classrooms, they won't get any attention. So one thing about college life in the United States, there's a lot of liberal arts colleges. And while the professors may do some research, in fact, teaching is as important, if not more important. So there's a lot of small liberal arts colleges that need and want students, international students. And there you can get some high quality teaching, and students can benefit from those. So my recommendation in terms of, I don't know, I'm not aware of that many programs, but in choosing, consider the possibility of a small college. I met a young person from Bosnia who did go to a small college in the United States, and she's an economist, and then she went to graduate school in economics, and I think she just got hired as a professor of economics in the United States, and she really praised the small college she went to where professors